we've got some of the biggest agencies in the world. They take interest in our brand. They're like, Eddie, I want to make Cabinet Noir one of the biggest fashion brands out of Australia, because right now we don't have a lot of luxury fashion brands.
Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast. My name's Ez, and today we have the founder of Cabinet Noir, Ed Maradona. Well done, mate.
Going as?
How you going? All right.
Yeah, good.
So today we're going to be talking about your brand, your vision for the brand, and your journey. That's got you this far. And obviously now we're looking at a crowdfunding campaign, so we're looking to invest in Cabinet Noir, and a lot of people looking to potentially help go through that journey with you. So yeah, today we're just going to be talking about that and having some questions.
Awesome, man. Shoot away.
Awesome. So the first question is, Ed, you've been in the fashion industry for like over 20 years now, is that right?
Yeah, I started when I was 18. My first job was at Foot Locker.
Oh, awesome.
Learned a lot there, At the time, Foot Locker was a cool company, and every cool kid's one trying to get into. So I learned a lot how to sell. Basically, I learned a lot how to sell.
Yeah.
Because they put pressure on you, like, sell this, and then sell this on top of that, sell this. So I learned so much from Foot Locker.
Yeah. And that sort of sparked, is that where you sparked like that love for passion and fashion industry and all that sort of stuff?
Well, I wasn't really into fashion. We love sneakers. At the time, every 18, 19-year-old kids who start at Foot Locker, we always talk, man, one day we're going to have our own shop. One day we're going to have a sneakers. So that's the biggest thing for us. But yeah, so we, fast forward after 2013, I started work for Locker, then I moved to Adidas. Then I worked at G-Star Raw just to get more experience and change the environment. So I've been in retail since I was then, 18. Retail is my life, basically. And then, 2013, managed to save enough and either invest in a house or invest in a new business. And I've always wanted to open a store, so I've dumped all my money basically into opening the store. On the hindsight, I should have maybe not spent that much money on my first store, but I was so excited. I just want to bring something new to the market, to Perth especially. That's why I put a lot of money into it.
Sure, no worries. So you started early on with some investment of yourself, and then what sort of inspired the inspiration behind the concept of Cabinet Noir? Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, like at the time, I was also dancing on the side. I was, semi-professional at the time, and I was competing a lot and traveling a lot around the world. And what kind of impressed me was when I went to Japan and New York and Paris and all that. I saw the stores are different. The experience was different. We're like, what is this? Like at the time, we don't know anything better. We only shop at Foot Locker and all that stuff, right? So going to Japan and you start seeing these amazing brands and products. We're like, man, I need to bring these products back. But how? So after that, the concept was to start looking at different brands to bring into our market. And that's what started my journey into traveling to Japan, and then eventually going to Paris and Milan, New York, and all that to get all my brands from.
That's exciting, man.
Mm.
So you got inspired when you went to Paris and you visited some of these places like Japan and so forth. But like, what sort of stood out for you with Cabinet Noir as a luxury fashion brand in Australia? Like, what was your mindset in terms of, like, because obviously it's a very competitive space. So what was your mindset when bringing the brand here to Australia and trying to like create something new?
My whole ethos in starting the store was initially it started off as a sneakers and jeans, like Japanese denim. That's what I wanted to bring in because it's quite rare at the time, and I was into denim, especially after working at G-Star Raw. I was like, I need to bring Japanese denim into Perth, and it's crazy. And then sneakers, same thing. I wanted to do like limited edition sneakers into Perth market, but they was so competitive in Australia with sneakers and very political. So to a point where I'm like, look, I can't advance further with sneakers. And then it forced me to hit up all these luxury brands like, Company something like that. And then start going to Paris, literally knocking on doors of all these showrooms. And I'm like, hey, I'm from Perth. We want to check out your brand. Would you be interested in? And I stuck in the brand. Some said yes. A lot of them said no. And that started the journey of going to Paris for me. So it was The last 10 years, I've been going to Paris twice a year for 2 different collections, the autumn, winter, and spring, summer collection. That's how I learned a lot about the industry. Basically, sourcing all these brands is different than sourcing the brands from Australia, where we have to go into different showrooms, do our own pitch of the store, what brands we carry. Because these brands, they don't want any store to carry their brand. I mean, they just don't want to like a half-assed looking store. So they want to see my pitch deck, my brand deck, my store profile, and all that stuff. What brands I carry, what do my stores look like? And luckily, I spent most of our money into the store fit out for my first store, and that allowed me to bring all these exclusive brands. Really, really exciting. I wanted to bring the kind of the fine dining experience into the market. You know how like in fine dining through Michelin-star restaurants, they will pretty much like source the rarest ingredients they never heard of before. Do you know what I mean? And the waiters will like come out like, hey, this is how you supposed to eat it, and this is go from here, and the chef cook it like this. And I see that in fashion as well, where the designers would introduce different materials. Like this, we're using this cashmere from Italy, da da da, and we produce like this, we make it like this, and only a handful will produce. And I find it very similar to how chefs cooking, to how designers make the clothes, and
Yeah,
that's very exciting.
that's a really cool analogy, and I think that sort of enhances that philosophy that drives the customer journey, right? Like
Correct.
when they come in.
And then me and my friend always say, man, don't try to sell products, try to sell emotion. And I feel like when you go to a fine dining restaurant, you definitely invest into the emotion of eating the food rather than just like fast food joint. You go to McDonald's, whatever, it's like, man, I can eat this every day, but I'm never content
Mm.
emotionally. But if you go to a fine dining restaurant, the services are great. The food is amazing. The whole experience, the smell, the ambiance, they all add up to the whole experience.
Yeah. And I think what's really interesting is that that experience has lent itself to building that community that you've got around you over time. And that's really elevated the brand's, sort of like portraying the brand in a really upmarket sort of value.
Yep.
How do you sort of contribute like the community's input towards like the brand and the growth there?
So at the beginning, people don't get my blueprint. It was like, oh, we don't get this store. What are these brands that like that really like look down on it, because they don't understand what we're trying to do. It's like me trying to sell Wagyu steak. I like going back to the food analogy because it makes so much sense. Like it's trying to convince someone who doesn't eat meat about how good Wagyu steak is. Do you know what I mean? That's not my demographic really. I need to sell the people who appreciate how good quality grade A Wagyu steak tastes like. And that's the people that I want to communicate with. But also, I don't want to just cross everyone out, you know what I mean? Because I want to also be accessible. So that's where the brands list is really important for me. I curate the brands list like how a chef would curate the menu. There's always an entry level food or food that customers are familiar with. And for me, it's the same thing. I need a product that customers familiar with. Most likely t-shirts. They understand what t-shirts are, like so. But then they see like, oh, these are better quality t-shirts. And that's something that we want to communicate and express as well. And also, like I said, building the community is very, very important for me. Educating customers, building the fashion community, and becoming the platform for all these like new up and coming designers. And that's how we became well known through in the fashion industry to be the leading fashion boutique in Australia, to kind of be the platform for up and coming designer brands. If a designer wants, hey, I want to try my brand in the Australian market, most likely they will contact our store first, and then we'll say yes or no. It's like, I'll give my feedback. Look, your brand, I don't think it's gonna work for Australian market. Maybe look at next season or different collection and whatnot.
Okay, awesome. So, that was really good insight into like the community and how it's been built. And I think like that, getting people into the store and to experience something, but something that they're attracted to in terms of high level fashion. Um, when you come to like your actual business side of things, you were quite successful in the early years as well. So in that first year, you hit nearly 1 million in sales. Is that right?
Yeah, so it took us by surprise really, and we started off with 250 grand investment,
Mm.
basically all my savings to starting the shop. Um, and then within first 12 months, we hit that $1 million goal. And initially, I was like, oh yeah, my math was like, if I put 250, I'll make 500 back. Like it's just very basic,
Yeah.
non-business type of mentality. Like I have no business degree. I've worked at retail stores for so many years, but still no background in business. Um, So it just the first 5 years basically learning how to run a business through being in the business. Like that's probably the hardest thing for us. Like for me to kind of grow it. We got to a point where we're hitting $2 million annually within 3, 4, 5 years. That's also attributed to a lot of things like the economy was booming, and people loving luxury brands at the time as well. Like even now,
Mm.
there's a massive demand for luxury brands.
And do you think that early success was like timing, like the economy at the time, or do you think like the brand was really positioned in the right space?
Yeah, also like a brand, like a store that we really offered something unique, not just the products that we're bringing in, but also the customer service. And I always tell my staff, it's like, look, our number one brand is the customer service. And no matter what products we're selling, if our customer service stay the same, that's what people should be expecting. Do you know what I mean? And they're expecting good personalized service, laid back. Like if you go to some luxury stores, they feel intimidated.
Hmm.
But when they come in, we'll treat them like a friend. Hey man, how you going? Like, what did you buy today? Like I like your shoes. Like, make them feel welcome and break the rule and the habit of shopping. Because a lot of times, like a lot of sales systems, will be, hey, how you going? How's your day?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and straight away as a customer, you just shut off into like defense mode. Like, don't talk to me. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. That's it, right? But then if I go, hey man, I like your shoes. Where'd you get them from? And oh, I got them from this is, and then you start engaging in conversation. Well, have you been to the store before? Oh no, you haven't. Let me tell you about Cabinet Noir. We're about what sort of brands we carry, right? And then most time they'd be like, oh, this is cool. Like I've never experienced this before.
Hmm.
And then suddenly, you exchange names and like da da da. And then I go, okay, so what are you looking for? What are you in the market for? Are you here for just browsing? But let me show you this. Have you touched this? Have you felt this before?
Hmm.
You know what this sort of product is about? Like where it's from? Da da da. Again, we're building connection, but also educating customers, whether they like it or not. It was like, look, I told my staff, like, if every time a customer comes in, even if they're just looking for something, or if they're not looking for anything, or if they're just browsing, at least they need to walk out learning 3 things about us, about the company, about the brand, about the products.
Yeah, and I think that is your USP is that you can provide a really good experience for your customers and like compared to the other brands and all that, and retail is very like it's almost like a factory, like
Yeah,
they train people, they hire a lot of young people, but then yeah, they lose that personality and the touch. So I think that's something that's quite key for you is
that's
connecting with your customers. Yeah.
and that is huge for us. Like my biggest thing is if you get 5-star reviews on Google, that makes me so happy. You know what I mean? And that's
Mm.
what we want to continue, no matter how big e-commerce online shopping is. We want to make sure in-store experience still prevail.
Yeah.
All right, especially in this economy now where they're so competitive with e-commerce online. All the shopping mostly done now online.
Mm.
So how do we bring back that in-store experience? This is part why we doing this crowdfunding, so we can invest more into our stores, our opening more concept stores around the world, around Australia, so we can start exploring different demographics and showcasing what we can do. Again, I love looking at like different Michelin-star restaurants. They have different concept. When they open a new one, I'm like, oh, it's a different concept, a different theme. Like you look at the fit outs different, the food offering is different. Same
Mm.
thing when we're opening new premises. We just opened our third shop recently as well at Cabinet Shopping Centre, which is the second biggest, busiest shopping centre in Australia. Um, and yeah, like this new concept is going to be different. It's going to be a new offering to the demographic. 99% of our clientele walk through the door are just first time seeing Cabernet Noir. They're like, "What is this?" I love seeing their faces. Like, I've never seen this cotton before. The simple things like that just make us so happy.
So, on that note, like, what would you say in the time that you've been running the business is like one of the key, or what's been the most key milestones that you've come through?
Key milestone being this is the third store. We recently opened a cafe as well. Yeah, so we basically um, what we like seeing is more and more people enjoying our product.
Mm.
Um,
I think you've got that ethos when you go into the coffee shop. It's really good because the brand's ethos is still there. Like
yes.
people like still very friendly atmosphere. People come in. It's not just the coffee. It's like
Yeah,
they get to know you. They become part of that community.
it's
Yeah.
it's like, I always tell people like when you see the tagline or the brand Cabernet Noir, it should resonate with an emotional attachment of luxury and conceptual. Right. So for any business that we're doing or opening up or expanding into, say for example, one day our vision is to open up a luxury hotel boutique.
Mm.
I mean, having that hotel produced by Cabinet Noir would mean it's conceptual type of hotel, not just like a mainstream commercial type of hotel.
Mm.
So that's the sort of thing we bring into the cafe as well.
The brand can be applied in any sort of
Can
like
be applied.
medium.
It's like then when you watch Batman, you see Wayne Corp everywhere. It's like Wayne Corp. That's what we want to see with the Cabinet Noir branding.
Yeah.
And obviously fashion retail is our biggest thing for us. Because fashion is connected to art, music. It's the lifestyle, the whole culture. We listen to particular music makes us want to wear a particular type of clothing because we've seen artists wearing that type of fashion. These are all interconnected.
Yeah.
And we want to use the in-store experience to do much more than that, much more than just retail store. We want to do activations there like parties, runways, art gallery, furniture gallery, showcasing new up-and-coming designers, new up-and-coming DJs, whatnot. It becomes a hub for all creatives.
Yeah, like that. So on that note, like if you look at the growth of Cabinet Noir, now you're sort of looking at connecting with international fashion communities. How would those relationships, you say, contributed to the growth of Cabinet Noir?
Can you repeat that again? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. So like basically like you've been quite successful with the brand so far with like, how it's transferring from, different, like now you got the coffee shop and so forth. But now you're looking at, or you are already connecting with the international fashion community.
Yes.
So if you think about fashion, obviously locally here in Australia, you've got a good sort of stronghold. But like if you're sort of connecting to on an international level, how have those relationships contributed to the brand?
Well, people think fashion industry big, but my experience is going to like Paris, Milan, and everywhere. It's actually a tight knit community. Everyone, all those top stores around the world, we go to Paris Fashion Week. For 1 week, we get to meet each other, and then all the best brands around the world, we go to Paris Fashion Week. They get to meet each other, and then you bounce around. You're having drinks in the middle of a cafe in Paris, and then you get introduced to different brands, and that's how we manage to get all these exclusive brands, just simply by networking at Fashion Week. Um, and there's not a lot of us doing what we're doing here. Luxury fashion concept stores are not everywhere. Like, we are the prime destination in Australia to, like I said, for any up and coming designers or luxury designers want to be in our market, or in the Australian market, they will need to approach us first or get a sort of some consultancy from us. Like, hey, will my brand work in Australia? And I'll tell them, look, I think your brand's a little bit difficult. We're not, our weather's a little bit warmer here. So, the puffer jacket type of brands won't work, for example. Right. So we give them feedback. And our demographics are a little bit more relaxed. So we wear a lot of shorts and t-shirts. So this is what, you need to consider when you're building collections. So I have a really strong connection with a lot of people in Paris. Just simply, I've been there for over 10 years now, back and forth.
Yeah.
So that really helped us a lot. And having our brand name also being, that's also another part of big reason why we're doing this crowdfunding. Because our brand is, we want to expand our brand to Paris Fashion Week by end of 2025, early 2026. And in order to do that, we need to build 2 sets of samples of collections so we can go to showrooms and then meet all the potential buyers and all our friends and be like, hey guys, we're now showing in Paris Fashion Week. Have a look at the collection. Maybe this will work in your demographic, in your market. Have a look. And then that's when we can venture out into exploring more with designs and stuff like that. And that's this thing that I love doing, designing new pieces like the ones you're wearing now, like, the ones I'm wearing now. This has been a hit. Our mesh knit t-shirts been a completely hit. And we have so many producers, artists wanting to wear this particular product because it's cool and, it feels good. And that's the sort of thing we want to expand more. Just, raising this fund so we can really produce, manufacture 2 full collections. And that's an expensive exercise, really. Like, each sample costs upwards to $1,000 sometimes. You want to build like a very detailed sample. And then it may or may not sell, but, showing it to the potential buyers in Paris.
Okay, so that brings us to our next question, which is, your objective now to raise capital and scale Cabinet Noir. It is, arguably a luxury brand that's number one in Australia as a fashion industry. How do you sort of, where do you see the future?
This is probably the best time to invest into our brand, because, for 10 years, we've been kind of like R&Ring about, oh, are we ready for Paris? Etc. But then, we've got significant deal with some of the biggest agencies in the world they take interest in our brand. They're like, Eddie, I want to make Cabinet Noir one of the biggest brands out of fashion brands out of Australia, because right now we don't have a lot of luxury fashion brands out of Australia, and I can count with maybe with one hand. Like
Mm.
it's, we have a lot of streetwear brands, we have a lot of beach brands, we have a lot of activewear brands coming out of Australia just because of the lifestyle. But in terms of fashion brand, there's not a lot really. Um, so this is where we see this potential in this market. It's a big billion-dollar market here, right? And then people love Australian brand. And the fact that we have so many celebrities and artists wanting to wear our brand, that's a reassurance for our brand. For me, especially, like, be like, cool, we're ready now. We've got the blueprint. We made some cool stuff, and that's what we want to do. We want to make more cool stuff that represents us, the Australian sort of lifestyle, and what we grew up, the nostalgic value of the brand, like things that we grew up with, the '90s hip hop culture, and all that stuff, all just mesh into this brand. And looking at what the kids are wearing, and we have great design teams. They're like, they're driving. They're the leaders of the youth that kind of inspired other youths, because youths drive the business. You know what I mean? Like the young people drive the trend. I look at when young people wear, not what the old people are wearing, not people my age, but I look at what they're wearing. Like, cool, like I vibe with that. That stuff is shit. Like that's the coolest things. So we want to, explore the fashion week a bit more. With this one, we want to do runway in fashion in Paris. Runway is not cheap, but runway is the best way to kind of communicate with our customers and our buyers, potential buyers, what the brand is about. Yeah, and create the sort of parties and stuff like that. This is also to showcase us, elevate everyone else in the industry to this one runway. So that's the big reason why I want to do Fashion Week. Runway is very, very hard. A lot of work. It's 6 months worth of work to do one runway, which is insane. You've probably seen documentary about Raf Simons, with Dior and the stresses behind curating that. And that's in luxury fashion. We basically um, produce every garment that we make will take like a month to kind of curate and produce and sample. So we need to do at least 50 to 100 samples for one collection for a runway. So yeah, that's what we need. This fun, I think, to explore more on how to scale the business, and also like so we can make more and make more stuff under our brand. Our e-commerce business is growing rapidly. Our wholesale business also. That's the wholesale business is what we see the potential into building into multi-million dollar company. We see project like we can go upwards to $100 million for on wholesale alone once you hit all the right target markets. We're massive in Saudi. Our brand is picking up a lot in Saudi and US and Europe. Asia is a little bit is a market that we want to tap into as well.
What about South America?
South America, definitely. We don't want to close any.
Yep.
There's a lot of brands coming from South America that we like. Whoa, okay. Brazil is killing it. Um, you know, Again, in Europe, there's also a lot of cool brands out of Spain. Yeah, there's a lot of nice brands that we want to kind of incorporate ourselves with.
All right. So, we're talking about potential investors and what their impact or what their investment can make in terms of an impact on the brand and the Australian fashion industry. Um, you sort of shared some insights into how you want to grow the brand and how you see the vision of the brand getting bigger, going to Fashion Week in Paris and all that, and runways and getting local designers. You talked about getting the youth involved in terms of investment, but how do you sort of see that making an impact on the brand?
So with investment, we'll split it into three different categories. One is for our in-store operations, which means we want to expand into more stores, like I mentioned before, into more retail stores, concept stores, I like to call it, because every store for me is a concept. And then like a chunk of the funds will go towards our own brand, producing more. And this is what we always like our stock levels are always low. And having more funds will scale our e-commerce business even more. And we've seen our e-commerce blowing up. And every time we drop a garment, it's sold out really quickly. So now instead of doing say 50 of each, then we can like increase it to 100, 200, 2,000 pieces each. Or we can cater to more demographics around the world instead of just selling out and then that's it. And then we have to wait for next batch coming in. And then the other big chunk is to do the samples, like the collections for wholesale business, which means we're gonna sign up with the major agencies in Paris, and then we'll showcase our collections twice a year during Fashion Week, and that's when you can actually scale a $1 million brand to $100 million within one season. That's how crazy it can get. The potential is if some buyers really like your collection, you'll be featured in all different editorials and stuff like that, and then word of mouth as well, because other buyers be like, oh my god, have you seen that brand, Cabinet Noir? Check it out. The collection's insane. And that's when you really, really scale the business, this wholesale, through the agencies, because these agencies have like thousands of stores under their database, and then they're like, all right, Cabinet Noir will fit into these stores here, and then they'll tell those stores, hey, look, there's an exciting up and coming designer from Australia. Get amongst it because they will sell out quickly, and they'll strategically will put our brand into the correct stores.
And I think to get that quick successive elevation that you're talking about in expansion of the brand, that sort of ties it back to that 90s hip hop sort of theme that you try to bring back in, right? And that's part of the brand's ethos, the DNA of
Yeah.
the brand. Could you tell us a bit more about how you're going to bring that energy into the designs and the operations, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, like we just want to make cool things, man. Like we don't want to try to be like the pretend designer brand. I want to make cool things that we like wearing, and you feel good wearing it.
And even famous artists, right? Like
Yeah, and we're like, I don't really care about what the artists want to wear. We want to make cool things because if we make cool things, they will automatically want to wear it too. And this is testament to like all the people coming to us and like wanting us to style their shows and stuff like that. We're cooking, we're creating these products for us first. Make sure we all want to wear it.
yes.
Because once we love and wear it, then people like will love it too. Guarantee that. But yeah, like we want people to get get amongst it too. Like with the crowdfunding, it's really interesting. As like because with normal investment, you just yeah, whatever. Like you just want to see the company, but with through this crowdfunding, you become part of the community. And that's what we like about it. We even making these like metal cards that you get like if you're the top 100 investors. It's like a fun and game. You get these metal cards like an Amex looking card. That you can use for like you get discount at all our stores and when you're buying things online and you get new collection and every season and stuff like that. So and you become part of our community. So like the Cabinet Noir shareholder community, and then it's a networking thing as well, and that's what we want to like build. So you're not just like investing, yeah, you invest in company growth and yada yada, but also, hey, I'm part of this club now, and we can help each other out. And most people who are going to invest are from different industries too, hospitality, fashion, and whatnot. So that's something we want to explore as well. This is a new concept to us, and not just to expand the company, but also to build community behind the brand. And for me, community comes first.
Yeah. That's beautiful. So how about, sometimes with business, it can be quite challenging, especially last sort of 3 years post-COVID. Um, can you tell us how you sort of stay connected to the vision during those challenging periods?
I see a lot of business fail because they couldn't pivot and they don't have the community base backing them up. Brands without community are only bound to disappear. Like a lot of luxury stores, recently we had a major luxury store in Australia, Labs, they're major store, but again, they don't have the community. They're just selling luxury goods, and their way of doing things is very much like, all right, we're a proper luxury designer store. This is the luxury brands. These are the luxury goods. Here it is. And it doesn't have like that son's connectivity with the brand. Like for us, it's different. Yeah, we're luxury, but we also have our brand that we're connecting all our consumers together. People who buy into the brand, or you buy clothes, they get invited to all these events and stuff like that. You know, then that's how we survived the last 3 years. And I've seen so many of my friends close down their stores, but only for us is only getting better and better and better. We keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger, um, which is quite rare for
And
any company.
that's key, isn't it? Like, during those tough times, that's when you really know you've got a good business, because that's how you're going to adjust. You're going to be pivoting. It shows the strength of the brand, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And that's the last 10 years we've been working really hard to create that. And yet by pivoting, bringing different type of brands, and you know, and and people can't afford all these too expensive. So the big thing for us is to create an affordable, accessible luxury brand, which is our own brand, the Cabinet Noir range. And like, normally like this would cost about $500. We sell up for 200.
Mm.
So it is accessible.
Accessible to most people.
Yeah, but we're not cutting back on the quality. But we just work really closely with the factory without hidden costs and, 10xing the product value just because it's putting a label on it. We want to be like, this is the markup. We'll be transparent to our customers too. This is what you pay. And we're not making a lot of margin, but so you can enjoy it at a lower cost. I think that's the way to go now. No one wants to buy a $600 t-shirts anymore. They can't afford it. Inflation and everything going on with the world, they can't afford it. So this is what we bring back to our design team, our production team. All right, how do we bring costs down without cutting back on quality?
On the quality, yeah.
Mhm.
And the design. Okay, so if you were to sum up your dream of Cabinet Noir in one sentence, what would that be?
Sum up the whole dream in one sentence. It's in a tagline. Redefining luxury fashion. For me, it's like redefining the cost of luxury fashion. Just all that. What you've start seeing it too now in luxury designer brands. They're no longer just doing these pieces that are unattainable. They're making skate shoes, for example. I've seen like luxury designers making skate shoes, baggy pants, singlets. This is streetwear brands now. So they're really changing what luxury means. And to me, luxury means is what feeling will come out from wearing our brand. Is the feeling. You know what I mean? It's like once you wear this, it doesn't have to have our brand on it, but how does it make you feel? If it makes you feel good, yeah, we're happy.
It's true. There's very much an emotional connection.
Yes, emotion.
So for listeners who are like considering investing in this crowdfunding campaign, what would be your final pitch?
You know what? We want you to be part of this journey. This is we've been around for 12 years, but to me, this is a new chapter, a new journey, because we've never gone to Paris Fashion Week to sell before. We've always been a buyer. So we want to really push Australian fashion into the global marketplace. And it's very, very exciting. It's like, I want to get everyone involved. Everyone who put money in, they're also going to be part of this journey. We'll make sure you get looked after, you get informed what we're doing. We're not just taking your money and leave. No, no, no. You put money to us, then we become, like I said, this part of the community. My mom's investing and like all my friends investing and stuff like that. So you're gonna see part of our big, big journey into this Paris Fashion Week, and hopefully we can do a runway within 6 months or 8 months time.
And how do you, I mean, beyond just capital, how do you see the investors playing a role in that journey for growth?
For what do you mean?
In Cabinet Noir, in that brand, like in the future, if you think about the future of Cabinet Noir, how do you see the investors actually playing a role in that journey? Like, do you, being part of that community, how are they going to get involved with the brand, do you think?
So a lot of the people investing into Cabinet Noir, especially like those people who are really serious and passionate about fashion, they can always connect with me. Eddie, I need help with this. I want to start my own brand. Can you help me? I've got all the resources here. Hey, I want to pitch you like this idea with this, and how do I get into hospitality, mixing with art, mixing whatever. So any ideas, you can come with me, and I can do my best to help you out as well. Do you know what I mean? And that's again part of that community, part of being this tight knit community is we all help each other and be like, oh look, how do I get into marketing? I'm like, well, I get my friend Ez. He can help you out too. This is part of the Cabinet Noir sort of community. And that's what we want to do. And we want to bring everyone to this like this journey. And then it'll be multi-directional, but we'll make sure we're heading the right way.
So that's the ethos of the brand, is like a collaboration of creatives coming
It's a
together.
family, yeah. So
Yeah.
actually, it is. It's like the whole thing is a family. It's a family business. We're bringing everyone into this family business. It's a mom, like the whole ethos of the store is a mom and pop shop. We're not a chain store. What we do is very personalized. I ask my customer, hey, what do you like wearing? What brand are you looking for? And I'll listen. And I'll bring it into the market. You know what I mean? Saying, hey, what's the problem you're having there? I'm like, oh, we're having issue with the marketing, e-commerce. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll
Yeah.
help you out with that too.
Yeah. Good. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Ed. That was really good, mate, and appreciate you taking us through that journey and the story. I feel like I'm really quite excited about this campaign and the future of Cabinet Noir. I think it's got an amazingly exciting future, and I think you really, uh, you've hit some really good, unique points in terms of the way the fashion is going to grow, especially that culture, hip hop, 90s, but also bringing it back to that international level as well, and your connection. So it's been quite an amazing journey to listen to. So yeah, if anyone is really interested in investing in this campaign, please go to Virtual and just search up Cap Noir, and you will see the crowdfunding page. So please make sure you express your interest. And yeah, we look forward to seeing this journey and seeing how things go.
Thanks, Des. Thanks, guys. Look forward to it.